Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how I set this up for our subject. So I go to the setup part of the program. There are multiple pieces that we can work on. First with the eyes. Right at this point I'm mostly concerned just with both eyes working together. In terms of the diopters, it's a little bit of a guess in terms of what we're setting up. I set this up to go to 30 diopters of base out, figuring if we went beyond that and got a break past there, that was okay. I didn't really care if it is much more than 30, how much more than 30, so that's why I set it there. And 10 diopters each eye would be a total of 20 base in, which is a lot more than most people have in reserve. But I did that because with that break, there's no way to stop it from going back immediately. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a recovery time, or our patient a little bit of recovery time. And while it's going a little further past and coming back, it's more of a recovery time. So that's why I went a little higher there. We could try with the base out a little higher, but it only goes another 3 prism diopters. I have this set up with the base out to go first, then the base in. You could change that by just switching which one goes that way. Reason I did the base out first, that's what we teach with the courses, and that's consistent with that. And the rationale for that right now goes beyond what our purpose is here. Speed, I did a little study where we recorded 15 or so experts who do these on a routine basis. Their average speed was about 1.5 prism diopter per eye per second. The feel was, as we were doing it here, that was a little bit fast. So just for our purposes here to get a set and a feeling of how this would work best, I'm doing 1 prism diopter per eye per second. So it's really going 2 total prism diopters per second. In terms of the cycles, to mimic what we do with our basic testing, I just want to do a single cycle. So I can start it and it comes back to 0 and stops. In a setup where we might do some vision therapy, and we'll talk about maybe a setup for that in a moment, we would set up multiple cycles, most likely move it much slower, and move it over a more narrow range, just so that we have a dynamic kind of thing. We'll show that in a moment. So if we put the start position, that would allow us to start somewhere other than at a 0 demand. But for this purpose right now of testing, similar to what we do in our examination, I have it set for just a 0 start time. So this is estimating that to run through the entire sequence would be about 70% of a minute, or 7/10 of a minute. And then we would go to our run program in order to get it started.